Hey kids, I'm so glad that I can be here with you today. I hope you've been enjoying the series that Pastor Nathan has been taking you through the last few weeks, the I am statements of Jesus. And last week's statement was, I am the door to the sheepfold. And Pastor Nathan talked about that a little bit. He talked about how Jesus being the door, it's only through Jesus that people can get into the salvation and peace, having peace with God, and how that's the only way that they can get out of the need and the freedom from trying to earn God's acceptance. Well, this week we are going to talk about another I am statement, and it's on the same theme, sheep. So in last week's video, Pastor Nathan talked about the sheep, and he kept saying he wasn't an expert on sheep or sheepfold. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to be able to talk to an expert? Now, especially today, because our statement today is from John 10:11. And it says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. So Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. So you'll never guess what I found. I found a real life shepherd that we can talk to today. I thought if we get a chance to talk to one and ask him some questions that maybe would help us understand a little bit better about what Jesus was saying when he said, I am the good shepherd. So why don't we bring him in here and we can talk to him.
Are you ready for me?
Yes, come on in. All right, so here is our real life shepherd.
Hey kids.
Welcome.
Glad to
so
be here.
Glad that you agreed to come and be able to talk about your job.
Oh, I love talking about sheep, and I love talking about being a shepherd.
So tell me about it a little bit. What's it like to be a shepherd?
Well, it is a full-time job, let me tell you that. The sheep need a lot of help from me.
Really? So, but they look so cute and cuddly. What kind of things do you need to do for them?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about sheep. That'll help you understand how it's a full-time job. They are the most needy animal that you can ever imagine.
Really?
So one of the things that they need me to do is to provide for them. Sheep are hungry, they need to eat, they need to drink, and they're not always good at knowing what's good for them and what isn't. So I need to always be leading them towards good grass to eat and good clean water to drink, or else they'll find a plant that's poisonous, or they'll find water that's dirty and contaminated, and they'll eat it and they'll drink it and they'll hurt themselves. They need me to help provide for them.
Okay, so that would take a bit of work for sure. Is that the only thing you need to do for your sheep?
Oh, no. I need to protect my sheep. They don't have any way of protecting themselves. They don't have sharp teeth. They don't have armor. Really, all they can do is run away. And they need me to watch out for them, look out for them, protect them from the predators that are looking to get them. And I'm always watching out and always protecting them so that they don't get hurt or killed.
Okay, so predators, that sounds like it could actually be a little bit dangerous.
Oh, yeah, I would lay down my life for my sheep.
So that keeps you pretty busy. Is there anything else you need to do for them?
Yes, I need to lead my sheep. Now, what I mean by that, sheep have a problem where they just tend to follow another sheep for no good reason, it seems. So they think, oh, that sheep, she knows where she's going. I'm going to follow her. And I've actually watched sheep from other flocks or heard of sheep from other flocks who have followed another sheep right over the edge of a cliff.
What?
It's
really?
terrible,
Wow,
tragic.
that's very tragic.
Yeah, so I need to be leading them. They know my voice. They follow me. They know that I know what's best for them. They know that they can trust me. They know I'll never lead them into harm.
Wow. So that does sound like quite a bit of work. If they are so needy, why do you put up with them?
Oh, I love my sheep.
Really?
I love them. They're my sheep. They mean a lot to me. We've had some great times together. Listen, I actually put together a little slideshow. Is it okay if I show it to the kids?
Sure, that would be great. Yeah,
Just to show you some of the fun that I've had with my sheep. Let's check it out. Here I am, just hanging out with the flock. Here's a picture of me with two of my favorites. It's Ted, closest to me, and Kevin. Here I am, taking a selfie with Big Bruce. Sheep can be characters. Here's Peter. We're sticking our tongues out and having a good laugh.
can also be curious. Here's little baby Jeffrey, interested in my beard.
Wow, so you named some of your sheep.
Well, I didn't name some of them. I named all of them. Like I told you, I know and I love my sheep.
Thanks so much for your expertise on sheep, Mr. Shepherd. I really appreciate you being here, and it really helps us understand a little bit more about what Jesus was talking about when he said, I am the good shepherd.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Wow, that was great. I sure wish I could have been there for that interview. That shepherd seemed like a really cool guy, don't you think? Sheep are pretty interesting animals, and it was good to learn some things about them. I don't know how to feel, though, about being compared to a sheep. I kind of wish that Jesus would compare us with kind of cooler animals like a mountain lion or like an eagle or something like that. But instead, he constantly seems to compare us as people to sheep. Why do you think that is? Well, the answer is because we're a lot more like sheep than we want to admit. We can be fearful. We can be easily frustrated, easily led astray. We can make bad decisions. We can look for the easy way out. We get into bad habits easily, and we need a lot of help. The truth is that Jesus knows all of this about me, and he knows all of that about you too, and about the people that he was looking at and speaking to when we read in the Bible, which is why he made this very next I am statement, the one that we're looking at today. In John 10, verse 11, he said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Now what we're going to do now is I want to read just a few verses before that. I want to read verse 2, 3, 4, and 5. And Jesus says some pretty interesting things about his relationship as the shepherd with the sheep. Let's look at verse 2. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens it for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought all his own outside, he goes ahead of them. The sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will never follow a stranger. Instead, they will run away from him because they don't know the voice of strangers. So here's the question I have from those verses. What does Jesus do as our good shepherd? Well, it talked about just a couple of those things in those verses. Jesus talked about it. It says that he calls the sheep out of the fold by name, and he leads them, and they follow him. And this is the point. Last week, we looked at the statement where Jesus said, I am the door. But this is the thing. Jesus didn't just provide a door and then say, figure out a way to get through it. He knows us, and he calls us, and he leads us through the door. Jesus did all the work to provide a way for us to have peace with God. He gave his life for us. But even more than that, he calls us. He calls us to the door. He calls us, and then when we follow him by believing in him, he continually leads us day by day by day. We need to be led by someone who knows the way, who is strong enough to protect us, and who actually cares about us. I am so glad that Jesus is my shepherd. I know I can trust him because he proved his love for me when he laid down his life for me to save mine. All right, guys, we're going to do some questions in just a moment, and then we'll be finished for this week. All right, here we are, our closing question time. Great job on the interview, by the way.
It was great to meet that shepherd. He was very handsome.
Must be the beard. All right, so Sarah's going to ask us the first question.
Okay, the first question. In what ways can you see that Jesus may be right in comparing you to a sheep?
All right, here is question number 2. Begins with an assignment. Read John 10, verses 2, 3, and 4. What does it mean when Jesus says he calls his own sheep by name? thought I might help out a little bit with an answer here. This is the idea that Jesus knows you. He knows everything about you, and he cares about you, and he loves you, and he wants to have a relationship with you.
All right, and the third question and last question for today, we'd like you to read John 10:10. And the question is, what kind of a life does the Good Shepherd want you to have? And how does this help you to follow him? So the answer to that first question is, what kind of life does the Good Shepherd want us to have? Is an abundant life, an overflowing life. And if we understand that he's good and that he loves us, that'll help us to trust him and to want to follow him.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. We know that the things that he is calling us to do are good and right. There you go, guys. Jesus is the Good Shepherd, and we want to follow him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm glad that you stuck with us. I'm glad you watched this. I hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye. Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you just for 1 minute at the end of our video today. I brought something to show you. Check these out. These are gardening gloves, but they're not mine. They're Sarah's gardening gloves, and she uses these to work hard outside to help take care of our yard. Now, your moms work pretty hard around your house, don't they? Maybe not necessarily outside. I could have brought all kinds of different gloves to help represent the things that moms do, right? I could have brought oven mitts. Maybe your mom is really great working in the kitchen. I could have brought rubber gloves because moms are so often like doctors and nurses looking after us when we're hurt. And the point is, our moms do a lot for us. The gloves remind us of that. But I also want to let them remind you today to use your hands, or also maybe your voices. Use something of yourself today to work hard to show your mom how much you appreciate her. After all, it is Mother's Day. So show your mom. Show her how much she means to you. Tell her. Be willing to help her without being asked. And just let her know how much you care. That's my challenge to you. I know it'll mean the world to your mom. And I know you'll do a great job.